Vivian speaking more about city life.
关注房子，关注城市，更关注生活。
I will see you every Wednesday night.
国际生活家直播采访秀 Vivian speaking， 每周3晚7点半，不见不散。
Good evening, this is Vivian speaking. Tonight it's my honor to have my friend Michael Hart with us, and he is a managing director for JLL 天津。那今天晚上呢，很荣幸邀请到了何迈可先生，他是众联联行天津董事总经理，可以这么说吗？
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Now, so today we will talk about commercial real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how about we have a look? So this is a topic, what we're gonna talk tonight. Some new concept and the future expectation for the Tianjin real estate. I mean commercial real estate. So how about we start from the first question? 那我们从第一个问题开始哈。OK， 那我们很少把问题列在这个屏幕上那我想呢，一会儿何迈可先生就会知道为什么了。Okay, so we seldom, list this question on the screen, and I think you will know it later. So how about you answer the question first? 第一个问题 What do you like most about Tianjin? Because you've been Tianjin for 12 years,
For
right?
12 years, right.
Yeah, so what do you like most about Tianjin?
Okay. Well, there's a lot of things I like about Tianjin. One of the reasons I moved to Tianjin was, of course, to open the branch of JLL. So Tianjin came here. So Tianjin has been very fun for me because it's where I helped build my company. It's also been fun because it's a very livable place, lots of fun restaurants and bars, but also because the real estate market, the commercial real estate market has been growing so much. So when I sit in my office and look out the windows and I look at all of the tall buildings, I can remember when most of those have been built. So I feel like not only did I have a chance in Tianjin to build my company, I've had a chance to help work with development of the city, help to participate in as the city has developed. So it's a real fun experience.
好，我觉得他可能总结来说哈，他就2点。第一是呢，就是说他整个这个是跟公司一起在成长，对吧？那么就是说喜欢天津，因为他也是帮助就是中粮联行在天津做的一个就是起步以及建设。那么第二来讲的话，就是他很荣幸参与到了天津的整体的一个开发建设中来那么So do you want to know what's your answer 10 years ago?
Okay. You know what I said 10 years ago?
Yeah, 10 years ago I asked the same question, and your answer that was I like the construction. With so much construction, there is a great opportunity for my company and the industry, as well as for the city.
Okay.
All right?
I think it was true, right?
Yes. But, like now, 10 years later, your answer, it's also true, but, involves lots of experience for the last 10 years, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my next question is, did you find things that are unexpected in Tianjin?
So I knew that Tianjin was going to develop quickly, but it's maybe hard to interpret how fast China can develop on such a large scale. So even though, unlike most people, I actually have a list in my office of what's going to be built in the next 3 to 5 years, because that's part of what we do is we track what's being built. So I knew what was coming, but yet the scale of development still surprised me. The other thing is that the city has really developed, it's become much more beautiful. So for example, the riverscape has really improved, and people come to Tianjin and say, wow, it's really lovely here. And it is, but I guess I didn't appreciate how much Tianjin was going to develop as a really nice place to live.
OK， 那么我的第二个问题呢，就是说是什么事情让他觉得就是天津就是 很就是让他感觉就是没有意料到吧，就是这样。他的回答呢也是说，因为其实他从他的经验而论的话，包括他在经历天津这么多年的变化，他是知道就是天津的一个发展走向的，但是其实在很大程度上他是没有想到天津能发展这么快。我觉得可能这个事情呢，不光是天津，同时还有包含了一个其他的一些城市哈，就中国的其他城市，中国在这10年的发展确实是，我觉得出乎了何迈克的一个想象。OK， 那么我们看看他10年前是一个什么答案哈。So your answer for this question 10 years ago is well, Tianjin is a big city. I mean the population is small. It's similar to Beijing and Shanghai, but it's like a warm small town. So I tell my friends that I live in a small town of 10 million people. The foreign community is relatively small. The medium circle with the reporters like you is small, like me is small. Within my first year in Tianjin, I felt like I knew Tianjin reasonably well. It's a small community in a very big city.
So one thing that's changed, I used to say Tianjin was a small city of 10 million people. Now Tianjin is a small city of 15 million people.
Okay, yeah, that's 5 million people, right?
Yes.
During this past, 10 years.
Right.
Okay, so how about next picture? Yeah. So we will say the difference. So the left one is it's you. Okay, but it's 10 years ago. And the second one is it still be you, but now I cannot tell the change, right? So
I think I've been eating a bit more healthy.
yeah.
I'm not as fat as I was.
Okay, but in my point of view, you are as the same as handsome,
okay.
As 10 years ago. So anyway, do you remember our last interview 10 years ago?
So I'm not sure if I don't remember that specific interview.
Okay, so I will give you some hint.
Oh.
Remember this?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so it's so for the 10 years ago, that's my first time to interview Michael, right? So that is 10 years ago.
Okay, well that's fun.
So I think this is a little surprise for me.
That is a surprise for me, yes.
Okay, so okay, let's back to our topic, and so like your picture, right? There's no big difference. I mean, for this 10 years, but for Tianjin, there's a huge, dramatic change for the past 10 years. So, what did you find?
Well, certainly Tianjin has changed more than me. But I mean, one of the things when I came to Tianjin had a few office buildings, but it didn't really have a concentration of what we call sort of grade A office buildings. There were a few office buildings, but not very many. Since there's been huge construction. Quite a few new areas of the city have developed. In fact, one of the really exciting things about my work in commercial real estate is you can see how just a few projects can help the economics of a specific area of the city. So there's a few areas of town, for example, if you put in an office building, a shopping center, a hotel, maybe a school, it can actually change the whole neighborhood in a positive way. And so Tianjin has a lot of examples of that, and it's been really fun to watch. Sometimes I visit places that I did visit maybe 10 or 12 years ago, and it's hard to believe how fast and how well those areas have developed.
Okay, we will see another picture that we will see the change,
Okay.
the how grow, right, for this city.
Right. So I think if you look at this one, we talked about population. So population grew by 5 million, so that's a 30% increase from 10 million to 15 million. But in terms of GDP, the economy, I think, has actually tripled. So it's grown 3 times in size. Tianjin, for a number of years, was one of the fastest growing economies all across China. And so it's been very fun to be part of that, to see the economy each year grow really, really fast. Some people are concerned because Tianjin is now growing at a slower rate, but that's actually okay because the city needs to catch up with everything that's been built. So the population grew by 5 million, the economy grew 3 times. So
那我们从这2张图片呢，哈，我觉得已经很清楚的看到，就是说天津在这个10年的变化里，哈 ，Michael 他在天津待了12年。那么我们在这图片呢，能够看到天津10年的变化。这个首先我们从人口来看，那么人口涨了500万，现在是1500万的人口，对吧？啊，500万 ，OK。那么我们而且它的经济来讲的话，是增长了3倍。
Yes。OK，
所以说呢，我觉得就天津的变化，用他自己的话来讲的话，天津的变化远远大于他自己的变化。那么我们下面呢，我们会去接触一些针对于商业地产一些很新的，或者是我们就有的一些概念，但是呢 ，Michael 他对它呢会有一个新的解释。那么我们看看会是哪个呢？首先呢，我们就想知道 everybody knows CBD. What is CBD, right? Even our Chinese people, even though they do not know how does it stand for this 3 letters, but we always say, okay, this is CBD. But how do CBDs differ from, the U.S. and China, right?
Okay. So there might be a few people who don't know, but so CBD stands for Central Business District. And often in cities, we think that means the concentration of office buildings and maybe retail is in one primary area. So it's the central business district. So of a city, there's usually one. A lot of foreign visitors are surprised in Chinese cities because in big Chinese cities, you often have 4 or 5 different CBDs. It has to do with a couple things. One, the sizes of cities in China are larger than most cities in the world. So maybe a city needs more than one CBD. The other thing has to do with the way Chinese cities are organized. So different districts within a city want to have their own CBD. So often people will say, well, they're building a number of office buildings here, but then they're also building them over there. So where is the CBD? And so for Chinese cities, they often have more than one CBD. It has also to do with tax collection. So a district would like to have what we call a tax base. They'd like to have some office buildings and shopping centers and hotels that help generate taxes for the local government. So a lot of people don't necessarily know where the lines are between the districts, but if you see 2 or 3 CBDs, you can probably guess that there's somewhere between there's a line dividing one district from another. So that's how Chinese cities are. In one way, they're different from Western cities.
我觉得这个概念真的是很有意思哈。我们可能之前呢都知道啊 ，CBD 就是一个城市或者一个区域很繁华的地方。但是当我跟他聊到就是美国和中国的一个 CBD 一个区别的话，就是也会让我耳目一新。因为很多老外来到天津或来到中国的任何城市，他会发现，哎，这个城市有很多的 CBD。它不光是一个 more than one， 那但是在美国或其他他们城市的话，可能就不会有那么多 CBD。可能一种理解呢 ，OK， 中国人很多，对吧？那可能我们需要更多 CBD。其实更重要的一层含义来讲，我们就拿天津来讲，它可能有重点的市中心，它有6个区。那么每个区的区政府来讲的话，像我们平常的住宅，它是不收税的。对吧？但是它只有通过 CBD 这些 shopping mall 啊，还有就是这些写字楼呢，能够给当地的政府能够制造就是更多的收益。所以说这就是为什么大家可以看到哈，那我们可以看一下，河东我们有河东的 CBD， 河西有河西的 CBD， 和平有和平的 CBD 啊，这一点非常有意思。那好，那么我们下面来看一下下一张图。
Okay.
So if we have CBD, of course we have the high building, tall building, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think from this picture of the tall cities, of the tall buildings in this city that are either already built or are under construction, one of the things you can see is that, let's say, the tallest 10 to 15 buildings in Tianjin have been built in the last 6 or 7 years.
Oh.
So this is why I say if I look around the city, I can remember when those buildings were built. But it really shows you that in the last decade in the last 10 years has been when Tianjin has really grown. So now we have all of these tall buildings. And in line with, as we talked about the CBDs, they're in different areas of town. So you can see, if you look out one window, what we call a super tall building, so over 300 meters in this direction, and then one over here. Linking that up with what we talked about before of the CBDs, China has this concept of building economy. In Chinese, I think they say 楼宇经济. This is not a concept that we really have in the West because of how the taxes are concentrated in the office building where the companies are registered. So the Chinese government of the different districts and cities have been chasing this 楼宇经济, where they want to see an office building established and attracting a lot of tenants who then pay tax to the local district. So that has something to do with the CBDs we talked about before, and it's also one of the reasons why the districts want to bring in those tall buildings that we saw.
Okay, so can I say this, this kind of tall buildings, kind of the branding too for this district?
That's right, so that's a very important part as well. The Chinese government and down at city levels have been very successful at using real estate and buildings as a branding tool. So if I show you a picture of the Eiffel Tower, you know that's Paris. If I show you a picture of this, for example, before the Twin Towers or the Empire State Building, you know that's New York.
Yeah.
And now Shanghai and Beijing have examples of buildings that everybody would recognize, and Tianjin also now has a number of high rises. And when you see the picture, you know immediately that that's Tianjin.
Okay.
Because they've done a really good job of using real estate to brand the city or brand the district.
OK， 其实通过这一张图片哈，我们导播受累再切一下。其实Michael 呢，他也是讲出来一个很有意思的一个话题，而且他提到了一个叫楼宇经济的这个概念。那么其实呢，我觉得也是我们平常会说到的一个地标啊。那么我觉得就是他也在说，就是中国政府这边是很聪明的呢，也是在利用这个房地产的这个作用。那每个区域呢都会有自己的一个很好的，就是或者是很亮眼的一个地标，通过这个地标呢，能吸引更多人的一个就是进驻以及投资啊，是这样的一个情况。而且呢，他也提到一个数字啊，很有意思。那么这些他发现天津这个前15位最高的这些写字楼啊也好，各方面都是在近年是在6、7年之内建成的哈。所以我们也看到了，就是在这个近期，那么中国的这个写字楼市场的一个长途的一个发展。那么我们在后期呢，我们也会提到这个写字楼这个概念。OK，next one。那么下一个呢，我们这个话题可能会是比较新，至少对我来讲的话，我觉得在做节目之前，我是第一次听到 TOD。那么什么是 TOD 呢 ？So what is the TOD stand for?
Right. So I don't expect non-real estate people to know this, so you're learning fast. But so TOD refers to transit-oriented development or transit-oriented design. So the idea would be that when you have a big real estate development in the city, that you focus it around where transit is. So for example, you might have big buildings built near a subway line or near a train station or bus lines, or even better, where those things come together. And it does a couple of things. One, if you have mass transit going into one hub area, then that reduces the need for cars. So it helps you get a lot of people to the area, but you can reduce traffic. The other thing is it means those real estate developments are more likely to be successful because you know they're going to have a lot of people coming in. In real estate, we talk about catchment. So for example, if I build a shopping mall here, it might appeal to the people who live nearby, but with transit-oriented design, you can expand the catchment. You can very easily bring a lot more people into that area. And so that will make it much more likely to be successful. One other thing I can say in terms of how the TOD type developments have impacted Tianjin, when I first came to Tianjin, when people would look for office space, they almost never asked, is it on a subway line? They would say, is there enough parking in the basement? Because we want to park our cars. Now, one of the first questions when companies look to locate is, are there subway lines nearby? Or how close is it to the train station? Because transit is now a very important piece for companies and for their employees.
好，我觉得 Michael 一共回答了我2个问题啊，就是第2个问题我没有问哈。第一个是就是什么是 TOD，那么第二就是为什么 TOD 现在越来越就是得到大家的一个重视哈。那么 TOD， 那么从英文来讲叫 Transit-Oriented Development， 我觉得翻译成中文应该是以公共交通导向的开发项目就是大概是这样的一个 你有更好的中文解释吗
I don't know the best way to translate
Okay.
it, but
All right. 那可能就是比如在天津呢，我们知道有个项目叫首创天悦海河啊，它就是一个比较典型的这种 TOD 的一个产品。那么就是刚才也提到它，其实我没有问哈，但是其实他在回复里的时候，他已经提到了为什么 TOD 现在越来越得到大家的关注哈。他提到一个事儿哈，比如说多少年前如果我们买房的话，我们比如说我们考虑住宅的话，可能会说，哎，这个地方有没有地方来停车啊？那么可能很关注这个。但是现在我们再去买房的话，可能我们会去关注，哎，这个地方有没有地铁啊？就是它的交通便利情况是怎样的。那么所以说，在这个尤其是大城市，这种交通来讲的话，可能是非常关键的。那 transition。那所以说呢，为什么这也就是第一哈？为什么这 TOD 越来越火？那第二点来讲的话，就是作为一个商业体各方面，它如果是坐落在 TOD 的地方来讲的话，因为它不光是指着周边的人群，因为地铁或者交通线路就在边上，那么就是很容易的就让更多的人能够带到这个 shopping mall 里面来去，是吧？哈，大概就是这样的一个情况。Okay, so I think we can move to the next part.
okay.
So actually, this is my question because you are studying the commercial real estate, right? The shopping mall is a very important part of it.
Right.
But except a few shopping mall in Tianjin, I mean, they managed well. Lots of them, they are nice and they are quiet. They have very good environment. But I just don't know. They do not have people to shop. So how can they survive?
Right. So, I think when you talk about retail in any big city, but especially in Tianjin in the last 10 years, the first thing is there's been an evolution, there's been a change. So before there were department stores where there was just one big tall building and you would go up in the escalator and do different shopping for different things, men's clothes, women's clothes, etc. But you wouldn't spend too much time there other than shopping. Then a few shopping malls opened. So the first thing with shopping malls is they're bigger, there's more public space, you can spend more time there. They also may have anchor tenants, so they might have something like a cinema or an ice rink, so you can do different activities and stay inside without leaving the building. So the first thing is those shopping malls give you more space. So what happened when the first one or two shopping malls opened, they became what we call a destination shopping location. People would say, meet me there, we'll go to that shopping mall to spend our time. So everybody loved them, thought that was great. Then, as you said, in Tianjin, a number of shopping malls opened. And so people would say, well, it seems like they're very similar, or we have too many. And so, Tianjin is in the early stages of developing, and so it's natural for people to think that there might be maybe too many. Although, as I think we might talk about later, the development cycle is slowing down. There won't be that many more. And so each of those shopping malls does need to now compete for your business. They each need to become your destination. Now, I would say in the last 10 years, there have probably been, let's say, 20 shopping malls developed. Only really 3 or 4 of those are to be the destinations, the ones where you would travel all the way across town. We can maybe talk about later. There's another kind of mall, which I would call a neighborhood center, which you would shop at it because it's in your neighborhood and it's close and convenient, but it doesn't have the key anchors that would make you think it's one of the top 4 or 5 malls in Tianjin.
So for that destination part, can I say this way? Like, because I usually I need to take care of my son on the weekend, right? So I always want to find a shopping mall who has a lot of stuff or area for kids.
Right.
So this kind of shopping mall definitely be my destination.
Right. So I mentioned earlier anchor tenants. So one of the anchors could be a cluster, so a group of retail stores or areas to play or classrooms where you would take your son. And so if they have a good kids area, that could also be an anchor that would make you choose that area as a destination. Those individual tenants may not pay a lot of rent to the landlord, but they bring you as a customer in, and so they're important, and that's why that would also be one special type of anchor.
那在这里面呢 ，Michael 他其实提到了，就是就是目前天津商场它是一个逐渐扩大，在过去的10年也好啊，近期也好，它是一个数量在激增的一个过程。但在这过程中呢来讲的话，大家的那种竞争，包括现在的状况，它也是一个正常的，但是结果必须是你能够生存下来，那可能能做得更好。那么在这个过程中，如果这个商场它能够找到自己的一个特色，就像我刚刚提到的话，那我作为一个7岁孩子的母亲，那我去的商场一定是它有很多孩子的装备啊，孩子游乐的设施，那可能我就会去这样的商场，那我就会成为这样商场的一个忠实的一个客群。但凡他找到了自己的忠实客群，那可能他也就找到了这个 shopping mall 的一个生存的一个方法吧。OK， 那么同时他还提到了一点哈，就是除了比如说天津市的一个重要的几个 shopping mall 之外呢，那可能还有一类，那叫就是怎么说呢，就是社区的 shopping mall， 那这个它可能也会逐渐成为未来的一个发展趋势，因为很多时候可能这个 shopping mall 它离你家很近，那可能我不会就是舍近求远，我就会直接就去到了这个 shopping mall 里面去。
Right. And so those don't really compete with each other. So a lot of people think a neighborhood mall would compete with a destination location, but those are really two different types of retail. So you might go to the neighborhood mall, so the 社区 just for the convenient shopping. But if you want to have a special night out or go to special classes with your son, you might go to the destination mall. So those are actually, not all malls are competing with all other malls. There's at least those two types. And the neighborhood malls don't really compete with each other because they're all located around the city in different neighborhoods. And so they rely on their resident population to be their main consumers.
那像那些社区的那种 shopping mall 来讲的话，它可能就没有必要去跟别人去竞争，因为它就只是吸引的是周边的那些人群。Okay, let's look at what we have on the screen.
Okay, so here we're looking at retail sales. And it's a similar story to the economy overall. It's that, Tianjin, I think in this case, maybe total retail sales have grown by like 6 times. So from like 100 there on this chart to sort of 600 or 700. And I don't know if that's millions of renminbi per year. I'm not sure but at any rate, you can see the retail sales have grown substantially. This is one of the reasons why retail malls have opened so fast. And it's also, as retail malls have opened, people can spend more. So retail sales are starting to slow, but the fact that they've grown so much, this means that retail is a very important part of the economy. If you look at the macro numbers, so Tianjin is a very strong manufacturing base, but you can see over time the service sector has become an important part. Some of that is because of the retail spending. Some of that is because of tourism, but this is one additional piece that helps diversify Tianjin's economy. It allows Tianjin's economy to not just rely on manufacturing, but to also rely on retail sales, and that's a good thing. So what you'll see on that chart was that retail sales in Tianjin have really grown, and that means the economy has changed its makeup.
OK， 我觉得是不是可以这么说哈？就是用中文我们会说的一个转型。这也是我们这个主席他会提到的一个就是转型，他也是在说从这个图上我们就是其实可以看到哈，那么整体来讲就是天津的这个别管是服务业还是零售业，它的从数据来讲的话，它还是在增长的。那这样的话，其实它是一个很好的现象。这样的话呢，天津的它从经济上来讲的话，就不会仅依赖于之前的一个生产的一个经济。
Right. So I think in Chinese, the question would be 那个消费者的能力. And if you see this,
消费者能力.
So because retail sales indicate 消费者能力是多大, and you can see it has really grown. So the purchasing power of Tianjin consumers has really grown, and the retail sales is a primary way we track that.
Okay. So do we have another? No. Okay. So let's. Here I have another question, even though it's not mentioned here. Okay, it's about the hotel.
Okay.
I think hotel is also the important part of the commercial real estate, right? So, I mean, for the 10 years ago, right, I can count how
Yes.
many hotels in Tianjin.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe cannot be on this, my hand, right?
Right.
So, but now, we have a lot of very, very good five-star hotel.
Right.
So how do you explain this five-star hotel, the numbers growth will be impact on the Tianjin's development?
Okay. So you can still count, but you need your hands and my hands to count all of them now. Five-star hotels or high-end hotels play a couple roles for Tianjin. So think about if you and I were on a team assigned by a company to go look at 3 cities to say where do we want to open our factory or where do we want to open our office. So for you and me representing a company, our first landing point would be the hotel. Probably where we would eat our meals would be the hotel. So if there are good hotels, we have a good impression of the city. If the hotels are pretty lousy, aren't very good, we'd have a bad impression of the city. So the first thing is that hotels are very important for business people coming in, first to decide do they want to open in the city, and then also do they have a good experience when they're visiting. If your CEO comes in and has a bad experience in the hotel, he's not going to be very impressed with his visit, no matter how good a job you do. So the first thing is the hotels are an important infrastructure for visiting business people, maybe to decide do they invest in the city or did they have a good visit to the city. That's the first thing. The second thing is that if you have good hotels, you can add another section to your economy, and that would be tourism. So if you have good hotels, you can not only rely on the local residents, you can bring in more people. So as an example, I recently had some friends came from Beijing, and they said a couple things. They said, number one, we didn't realize Tianjin was such a lovely city. Number two, there are wonderful hotels here, and they're fairly inexpensive. So by having good hotels, we can also open up tourism, so it's part of the infrastructure for tourism, and allows the city to grow that piece of its economy. If you think back, Tianjin has had a number of special events, so whether it be like Summer Davos, the World Economic Forum coming for the summer, the National Games back in 2008, some of the Olympic Games. So anytime there's a special event, those hotels play an important role for the city welcoming visitors.
那刚才我这个问题可能并不是在我们的这个屏幕上哈，那么但是这个作为酒店来讲的话，它是商业地产的一个重要的一个部分。那其实我之前呢也没有意识到这个酒店业就是对天津的经济会有怎样的作用。他刚才也提到几点哈，第一点呢就是说，其实它是一个城市印象，对于一个外来者啊，别管他是其他城市的还是其他国家的，那么来到天津，他可能这酒店的感受，它是对天津的一个印象。那么第二来讲的话，其实从经济的增长来讲的话，它对旅游业的触动是非常大的。第三呢，那么就是天津，因为也是我们跟北京很近嘛，我们有时候会组织一些像达沃斯啊，或我们之前的奥运会都会天津的涉猎。那么这样的话，酒店在其中也起到了非常重要的作用。Okay, so beside the hotel office building, right? So lots of people ask me that could you just let Michael give us some recommendation which office building will be the good one to invest?
Okay. Yeah. So in this sense, commercial real estate is in some ways harder to invest in than residential. Right? So residential, everything comes in little small units, and you can purchase whether you want a single unit, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and then you're looking at location or developer. So in terms of commercial, to be very honest, because my company manages office buildings, I think the ones that are easiest to maintain their value are those that are owned by a single owner. So we call it sort of en bloc. So it's a building that has one owner. The reason it's easier to maintain its value is because if the owner invests back in the building, over time it will stay sort of high quality. People will like it. The danger investing in what I would call a strata title building, meaning a building that's been sold by floor or individual units, you can make money that way, but it's much more challenging because if the other investors in the building aren't paying their property management fees, which means they're not investing back in the building, it may not maintain its value. So A lot of individuals, if they purchase, they may not want to pay their property management fees. That makes it challenging because even if I don't have a tenant in my office right now, the elevators need to be maintained. The roof needs to have the waterproofing, maintained. You need to have the front area. It needs to have grass and flowers and parking, etc. So that's the challenge with investing in small office units. Is you need to keep investing back in and maintaining the building. So.
OK， 那么针对这个就是投资写字楼这块儿，因为有朋友呢也是在问我说，哎呀，那个今天啊好不容易接触到了何麦克先生哈，那你赶快帮我问问，就天津的哪些写字楼能投资？他呢，就是当我问到他这个问题的时候呢，他也是因为他本身的工作作为仲量联行来讲的话，其实他们就是做写字楼的整体管理的这样的一个工作。那么他非常有这话语权嘛，对于他来讲的话，首先他愿意做的写字楼管理就是那种只有所有权就是一个人的，对吧？就是在一个人身上，这样的话呢，那么他好去管理这个写字楼。那如果说就是他觉得有的写字楼很难管理，就比如说他是写字楼是一层一层卖的，那这样的话，其实对于他的管理难度就是一下就加大了，因为他要保证所有的人对于这些管理的事情，或者说大家对这个事情都能抱以同样的态度，其实这是非常难的，对吧？因为涉及到不同的人。那么我们可以换位思考一下，那如果你再去买写字楼的话，如果你没有足够的资金去买整栋写字楼，那如果你也是单间去买或一层去买的话，其实对于以后这个写字楼的维护就要自己打个问号啊，就要做一个更长远的一个考虑。
Right. So in more advanced markets, in terms of stock market, there's something called REITs, R-E-I-T-S. So REITs, I-T-S.
Okay.
So it's real estate investment trusts. So people have talked about REITs before. So it's like buying a stock, like buying a
信托
Xintuo is like a fund, except for REIT is actually listed on the stock market. So you can buy and sell anytime you want.
OK，
In other markets, you could buy a REIT that invests in the office building. So in that sense, the office building is owned by just one group. It's owned by the fund, and then you could buy in and buy out. But then the fund itself acts as one owner to manage it well. So that will, in a few years, will develop in China, but we're not quite there yet.
我觉得当然他现在也是讲到了以后就是中国在写字楼方面的一个运营的一个怎么说呢，一种方式吧。
It's an investment method. So there are actually REITs that would invest in office or in hotel or in aged care, so all different categories, retail. So this will eventually come to China. It's been talked about for a long time, but it will slowly come. So when that happens, it will be much easier to invest in commercial real estate.
明白，就是现在可能还不是一个成熟的市场来投资写字楼。那么在国外呢，他刚才提到了一种 trust， 对吧？就是像这种可能我不知道具体中文它叫什么哈，但是如果它建立了那样的机制的话，可能就更有利于咱们的普通大众去投资写字楼，对吧？那现在可能还不是说特别好的时机。Okay, so do we have
So what are my future expectations for the Chinese commercial real estate sector?
Yeah.
So different cities are at slightly different cycles in the development phases, but I continue to be very optimistic about commercial real estate in China. When I first came to China, we were working with foreign companies that were using office buildings. So most of our clients were actually foreign companies, and some of the key buildings were owned by foreign developers. What's happened in the last 15 years, because I was in Shanghai before Tianjin, is that now the main users of office space are actually Chinese companies. The main developers are Chinese companies. And you even have besides developers, you have insurance companies that are investing. So I think there's a lot of professionals, Chinese professionals, that have come into the market and are doing a really good job of managing. And that means that with Chinese owners, Chinese developers, Chinese users, I'm very optimistic that as those groups continue to do well, commercial real estate in China will be a very successful market. So a very bright future. China's just starting on the commercial real estate cycle.
我觉得就是这块儿它也是非常的，怎么说呢？是非常的，就是对于这个中国的商业地产，我觉得它是抱有特别的，就是特别怎么说 bright future 就是觉得这个市场未来前景是非常非常好的。那么因为可能也是因为在这10年里，就是看到的这些变化，可能之前包括别管是从那个管理，包括到我们的这个写字楼一些用户来讲的话，更多的可能是一些合资企业呀，包括是外资企业。但现在呢，从 developer， 从这个生产的那个，从建筑，然后包括就是 managing， 然后从管理呀，再到 customer， 对吧？ 再到我们的客户来讲，都是越来越多的本土化，可以这么理解哈。
本土的企业。
本土企业来在做这些事情，所以他觉得未来的话，那么中国的也是在商业地产上也是潜力无限啊。好，那我觉得呢，就是今天呢是大概是我们所有的内容。其实呢，我还想问一点哈，那就是说，how can a foreign company be involved with a commercial real estate and what you do and what the service you have for the JLL?
Right. So it's a question we get a lot. So they say JLL, so Jones Lang LaSalle, you're a foreign company. How do you participate in the Chinese real estate market? So, I mean, as I said, when we started, we were working with foreign companies, but today there are a lot of Chinese companies that want our help because what we do is we deliver services. So we help the owners and developers manage those buildings. I mean, my company is about 240 years old, so actually came from England initially, now a U.S. company with some mergers. But we've been doing property services for over 200 years, so managing commercial buildings. And in the last 50 years, of course, that means office buildings. And so we have a lot of experience with systems to run these buildings. And, you know, our key clients, who I say now, you know, a lot of Chinese owners, including Chinese insurance companies, they want to work with people who know how to run these systems. So we help people lease. So we help people lease office buildings, lease shopping centers, lease industrial space, logistics space. And hopefully they actually get us involved beforehand. We're in the planning stages. So they can say, here's what we're thinking of building. What do you think about this? Will this be an easy building to run? And if we can give them suggestions before they actually start the development process, then that's helpful. You know, a lot of Chinese developers are fairly young, so 20 years maybe, and they started doing residential, and they built a lot of tall residential buildings, and they moved into commercial, and they used the same concepts. There are some noticeable differences for commercial real estate, and we can help developers make that change and make sure that they're building it in a way that will make it easy to run and then easy to use, and it will maintain its value long term.
Okay, so we will have some clue for the company JLL, and I would love to invite Michael to talk about also in Chinese in this part, because you know he's been in China for 12 years, and actually his Chinese is really good, but he insists that I talk Chinese, you know, in the live show. But for this last part, you only have 1 minute. Okay. All right.
所以我先简单说，其实我在天津12年，其实我已经在中国差不多20多年。因为在天津之前，我在上海之前，我在台北。所以其实我觉得中国过去的15年、20年在房地产开发是比较丰富。我自己也得到很多那个机会，做这些那个纪念。可是我刚刚说，一个非常重要的一个部分，就是我们公司可以提供是房地产服务。所以我说 leasing 就是那个
出租嘛，哈，
出租还是我们会说招商，我们可以帮一个业主招进来住户，不管是写字楼，或者是购物中心，或者是物流，其他的等等。然后我也刚提，如果有一个开发商做规划。在做开发之前，开始建工之前，其实我们可以也提供很多的概念、看法等等。所以我们先看那个设计图，这个平面图，我们可以先跟他们看看讨论，是不是 忘掉一个重要的部分，因为我们的目标是他们建了以后，这些楼是比较容易用，也比较容易保护，然后它的价值，它的 value 就能留下来，还是可以提高，所以我们就是提供这些服务。我们不是一个中国房地产公司，可是我们有很多的中国的，还有很多中国的同事们，他们现在是在我们的行业，他们是专家。我们就可以提供这个服务给我们的客户。
好，我觉得大家是不是有种感觉？哎呀，这45分钟为什么你们要说英文？Okay, so that's today's Vivian speaking. So see you next time. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.